Welcome to Pridehouse Tokyo's 八方不美人の教えてレガシー This is the second video of this video where we chat with our guests about Soji and LGBTQ plus issues in English.
Right.
I'm Durian and I'm a member of Happo Fu-Bijin. I use he, she, they, any pronouns.
Great.
And you?
Thank you. Hi, I'm Akané Kousaka and I use she, her, hers pronouns. I work for Pridehouse Tokyo Legacy as one of the staff members. We've invited 3 young people as our guests today, who are Amane-san, Nemo-san, and Rua-san. So, can you all please share with us quickly your name and pronouns, please? Starting from Amane-san.
Yep, my name is Amane and my pronouns are she, her.
Woo! Thank you.
Amane!
Now, Nemo-san.
Yes, I'm Nemo, and you can use any pronouns to describe me, he or she, anything is fine.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
And Rua-san.
Rua-san.
Yes, I'm Rua and I use he or him to myself. Thanks.
Great.
Okay.
Thank you. So we've talked a lot about the identities and where we stand in the community in the first video. And Rua-san, I know you wanted to talk about differences between LGBTQ plus terms and their uses in English and Japanese. Can you say a little more about that?
Sure. So as I said in the first video, my sexuality is omnisexual, which is an uncommon word in Japanese and might be uncommon in English too, but I think the counter idea is pansexual. However, pansexual and omnisexual are usually translated in the one term, which is zensei. And then the differences between those two terms disappears in Japanese, and I think that's an interesting issue.
Yeah, and in our meeting before, I totally confused the term pansexual and omnisexual as I was trying to explain it. Can you all explain, tell us how they're different, similar, that kind of stuff? What is omnisexual?
I think it's rather easy to explain myself, so I can love kind of all sorts of people from all genders. However, I think there's a bit in the way I love them is a bit different from each other to those genders. So there's a big differences in there. However, people who are pansexual say that they love others regardless of their genders. So there's no distinction between them. So yeah, it's called gender blind sometimes as a term in English. So there's that kind of difference. So that the important kind of point is whether I have some distinction in the other's gender or not.
Got it. Yeah, so Amane-san and Nemo-san, what do you think the translation should be to omnisexual?
I can go first with this. I believe that it should have the original kanji name. It shouldn't have katakana because what I've been observing in Japan and in Canada is that when Japanese people uses katakana, it actually it gets out of the sphere of original Japanese culture, meaning that Japanese people think of the issue, but then they don't feel it as much as they would do in kanji. So I'm not creative enough to come up with a new name in kanji, but I strongly believe that they shouldn't use katakana name. Yeah.
That's a great point.
Oh, interesting to me because I thought like totally the different idea from.
Tell us.
Yeah, because I feel like that many terms of related to LGBTQ don't have direct Japanese translation. For example, even gay and lesbian, we use the term gay and lesbian in katakana. I think that's because there is no way to translate those terms in Japanese. And yeah, if we try to translate, then maybe there is like a slight difference, that it's an opportunity for people to misunderstand the original meaning. So yeah, I think they just simply using katakana is the quickest solution. And yeah, I think like more and more people are familiar with English terms in Japan recently. So I don't think like, especially for the young people, they don't really feel like a phobia toward these terms. And if there's like Lula said, there's a term for pansexual in Japanese, which is called zensei, something like that. Right? So yeah, then it's confusing now. So I think if you use omnisexual as a katakana, then that's how we can like differentiate it. Yeah, but I want to confirm that zensei is a translation of pansexual. Right?
Both pansexual and homosexual. Maybe others. It's a simple term to that includes others. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I think then we should use both of the terms, pansexual and homosexual in katakana.
Right. Yeah, I think Nemo pointed out a really good point that young people in young generation in Japan, the Japanese itself, the language itself is westernizing. As much as I said that using katakana can detach people from the actual meaning, it's true that language does change because it is a live thing. So yeah, if young generation can become more familiar with using like westernized words, then I guess it is the most easiest way to spread the word. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure if this is like related to it, but I have heard the news about the French language. Like when like some words are translated into French, it has to, if it's a noun, then it has to be either like dansei or semesi. Like it has to be either masculine or feminine. It's like the COVID-19 that became a feminine. So it's love for me.
It's so weird.
So
That's so weird.
That is weird.
a lot of feminist people and they complained about it.
Wow.
So
Yeah,
that's my concern. When it becomes Japanese word, then that too. So.
Yeah, and Rosa, you had another word that you're curious about. In terms of translation.
Yes. So there was X gender, which was born in Japan, and also non-binary, which is I think more common in English world. And I prefer to use non-binary, and I think this is also another topic in another video. So I won't touch so much deeper here, but yeah, there's distinction between X gender and non-binary.
Okay. Yeah. So that would be really nice to maybe talk about it later among us, because it's also another really rich topic. Yeah, thanks for bringing that up. How about, let me see my notes here. I'm curious, Nemo-san, if you could share with us how you've been feeling or thinking in terms of sort of your position in the LGBTQ community.
Oh yeah, thank you for pointing it out. Yeah, because as I introduced myself in my history of my sexuality, I divide completely the sexual orientation and gender identity. And sexual orientation was, mostly, how do you say, like I'm very much like a typical heterosexual man if we only consider sexual orientation. So I like women 100%, and I've never had experience of having a feeling towards a man. So that distracted me actually when I before I define myself as a Christian. because based on sexual orientation, I thought based on sexual orientation, I had to decide my position of sexuality. The kind of thing was in my mind. That was not true, but in very long time, the sexual orientation was a distraction to me. And even now, I sometimes doubt myself if I really am a part of the LGBTQ or sexual minority, that kind of, can I say out loud, those things. Sometimes I lose my confidence to say that. So, it's very difficult to, understand it and consider it as an important topic for me, to be honest. Because I cannot feel it. Maybe I can understand logically, but it's very difficult.
Yeah, sounds like there's just a little disconnect between the community and the people and yourself in terms of your feelings.
Yeah. I think there are many people that who feel exactly like me. So I don't think one thing that I can say is that to not define oneself is not. It's different from escaping or it's different from running away from
Love it.
doing. That's very important. There's many things that we don't know in this world. Sexuality is a big thing, and it's a new subject that emerged recently. So it's very it's normal that we don't understand about it. So please don't consider it as negatively. If you don't know your own sexual identity. That's what I can say to the public.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And I think it's a perfect segue to our last question, which is, where can we go once diversity becomes a norm? What do you all think?
In my opinion, in that ideal world, we can be anything. I mean, we can be anyone that you want to be. It's like how you express yourself does not annoy others. It's you, and it's perfectly fine. I think that's the ideal world. After the diversity is diversity is not clear. It's not a right word. How can I say? When the society got its diversity,
I can totally answer this question because I live in Vancouver. I believe, I lived in States, Japan, and then here, and I believe that Vancouver in Canada is the most diverse or has the most tolerance of diversity. Saying that means that mind your own business. This may come harsh at first, but it's actually a really good word to distance yourself from other people, whether you are, judging other people or other people judging you. Mind your own business can actually have like a safety wall, and that safety wall protects you from all the judgment that people would maybe say to you. And I believe that everybody should have that safety wall, and everybody should stay in that safety wall and never ever force other people about your own judgment against them. And I think when this comes the normal thing to do, then I really think Nemo, like you will stop worrying about your sexual orientation or gender identity and stuff, because you are in your own world, and like Rua said, you're allowed and you should be allowed to have the right to express yourself without other people judging you or fearing other people that judge you.
That's Right.
Thank you. I really agree with Amane, like in terms of mind your business. Like it's ridiculous to worry about like what others think about me.
Exactly.
In Japanese, there's a word called seken or like sekente. Like it's a
Yep.
the people around us will be very unclear, like who are they? So it's just easier to consider that it just doesn't exist in this world. So yeah, like each one of us is a center of diversity. So yeah,
That's beautiful.
Really. Thank you,
So-
Amanda, for
Yeah, I have bad news here.
What?
Our time is up.
No!
Oh, sorry. Sorry.
No!
I'm so sorry.
Time flies again!
I know.
So, Amane-san, Nimo-san, Lua-san, thank you so much for the fun and honest conversation today.
Yeah.
You all have been so wonderful!
So wonderful. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much!
Thank you. So everyone, I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you really liked this video, please like the video.
Yeah!
Bye.